The sun was just beginning to set as the elf Leosin arrived in Greenest. The sky was a burnt orange, and the warm autumn breeze rippled through the tall grass of the green fields. Greenest was the largest town in the region, but even then it had fewer than 100 houses. Here, in the warm grasslands of the southern Sword Coast, life was simple. Leosin and his companions, a handful of monks under his tutelage, had pushed their horses hard for the past 4 hours to make sure they made it before dusk. After stabling their animals, they rented a couple rooms at the inn. Not knowing how long they'd have to stay in town, they settled in for a long wait. The next few days took on a predictable routine. Leosin ran errands in the morning, greeting the farmers and shopkeepers, dodging the children playing in the street. In the evening, he buried himself in the books he borrowed from Candlekeep, the library on the coast. Books on dragons, necromancy, and fringe religious groups. In between, the monk observed the town carefully. Greenest was large enough to be fairly prosperous, but too small to be well defended. A tall keep on a hill dominated the center of Greenest, but it had fallen into disrepair over the years. War hadn't touched these lands in centuries, so the villagers had no need to seek the protection of its walls. The few guards spent their shifts relaxing and chatting with the townspeople. The blacksmith made tools and horseshoes, but no swords or spears. Leosin was certain now that this was the ideal target. He'd watched his enemy's movements for weeks, and he knew the lure would be irresistible. This time, he would be there when they struck. He needed to find out what they were after, and why. One evening, Leosin was so absorbed in his research that he almost didn't hear the alarm being sounded from the rundown keep. When the ringing bells snapped him out of his contemplation, he hurriedly stashed the books in his bag, grabbed his staff, and ran to the door of the inn. Awoken villagers were starting to come out of their houses to see what all the commotion was about. In the southeast corner of town, in the fading twilight, the monk could see the faint orange glow of fire, and a steadily growing column of black smoke. When the screams of panicked townsfolk pierced the night, he knew then that his theory had been accurate. He gripped his staff tightly, knuckles turning white. They were here. This is Cornfields and Kobolds, a D&D podcast run by 5 Midwesterners in the heart of America.
Also known as the butt crack of nowhere, deep in the cockles, the taint.
The very cockles. I am Devin, and I will be the dungeon master for this campaign.
You're Devin.
Your mom's Devin.
Very astute observation.
No, I'm Devin. No, I'm Devin. I'm Devin.
I'm Devin, and so is my wife. Let's just, I guess, do a quick introduction. Let's start with you.
Why do we have to start with me?
'Cause.
Okay.
Clockwise.
Wittershins. I know, we know that's not what clockwise means. That's the opposite.
Yes.
Yeah. And maybe.
Fantastic.
Hi, I'm Nora, and I've been DMing Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition for a solid 3 years at this point, and I've been role-playing ever since I was in my teens, along with this one.
I'm Amber. I barely know what I'm doing at any given time, and I'll be playing the sorceress, Jaskira Farthe Stadua.
The sorceress.
Sorceress, damn
That's
right.
great. We're going to save the characters for the end, though.
Alright, well, I'm Alex. Hi, everybody.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi, Alex.
Suppose I'm relatively new in the role-playing game, but I'm feeling really good about this season. Feeling really fresh and charged up.
Yeah, let's get out there. He's the rookie.
So yes, I will be running a 5th edition D&D campaign, and this will be using the adventure module, Tyranny of Dragons, which comprises the Hoard of the Dragon Queen and Rise of Tiamat books.
He used comprises correctly.
Oh, yeah. He's a
I'm a
writer.
writer. This will be my first campaign in 5th edition. Up until this point, I've been DMing almost exclusively Cortex system, which is the Firefly... Yeah, modified Cortex, which is what the Firefly and Battlestar Galactica RPGs use, but I adapted it for, like, fantasy settings. Before that, I was mostly used to 2nd edition, which is what Amy's brother, Ethan, ran for us for a long time. Thankfully, I feel like 5th edition is a lot simpler, a lot easier to understand. I allow everybody to have a follower. This can be just about any NPC that you come upon, and depending on how the story unfolds, you'd like to add them to the party, and I will give control of that character to one of you if you'd like to have them as a follower. They will stay at half of your player character's level. If they're introduced at a higher level, they'll stay at that level until you basically have double their level, and then they'll keep pace with you at half of your level. So I'm going to go ahead and move on to introducing characters.
Woo!
Who wants to start?
Same order?
Why?
Okay, Miss Hot to Trot Sorcerer, go.
Yeah.
Alright, as I said earlier, my character is a sorceress. She is a dragonborn sorceress whose name is Jeskira Farthea Stajuash. She does not accept Jesk, Kira, Farthi, or any permutations. It is Jeskira Farthea Stajuash. If you can't say it, that's your own problem.
Amber, I believe your character's background is Bounty Hunter.
Yes, it is.
To tell us a little bit about that.
Well, you see, she was raised as a bounty hunter, especially being a chromatic dragonborn. She felt to take it upon herself to make sure that her reputation was as sparkling as it could be, especially in turbulent times like these.
Yes.
And, making money on the side of some work isn't a bad idea.
Yeah, there you go. Let's go ahead and move on to Nora.
Alright, I'm playing Quilena Firetree, the Eladrin Bard. Eladrin are a type of elf that live in the Feywild. Quilena she's not originally from this plane, and got accidentally summoned by some cultists when they were incompetent and messed up their ritual. And now she's making her way... she escaped from them, and now she's making her way around the area where our story starts, leaning on her background as an entertainer to earn her keep and sing for her supper.
Excellent. Was she an entertainer in the Feywild originally?
She was under the tutelage of a satyr, from whom she learned a particular style of barding, or being a bard. Bardery, yes. And she will be developing those skills as she levels up.
Excellent. What instrument does she play?
She plays quite a few. She knows how to play the viol, the lyre, the pan flute, and the drum.
You can basically be a band all by yourself.
Just strap everything to yourself like a one-man band.
String, and wind. Amy.
I am playing Fiori. He's a rogue. His background is criminal. He specifically is a burglar.
He's a drow?
Yes, he's a drow. However, he hasn't really lived with the drow very long. I think some cultists probably captured him at some point. Maybe, I don't know, child sacrifice? Is that a thing that happens? Whatever. Anyway, he was taken in by some sex workers, and he grew up in a brothel. And out of boredom and probably revenge for dudes being all leery and gross, he learned pickpocketing and various forms of burglary, mostly directed at the customers. It's a problem.
Yeah. And your drow has mostly lived on the surface for most of his life.
Mm-hmm.
So I changed some of your racial characteristics. I took away your sunlight sensitivity.
Yeah, but he doesn't have as much dark vision,
yeah.
or any, if I recall.
I think I just took away your dark vision.
Yeah.
So felt like that was a fairly fair exchange. Like, living in the surface world has basically just, like, sort of burned that out of your eyes.
Yep.
Tempered it, more like.
I don't see in the dark so good. I'm just a regular boy.
Regular astronaut.
You're just a boy!
He's just a boy!
Just a boy.
Alright, so, Alex, why don't you tell us about your character?
Alright, so, character's name is Dagny Underhouse, Halfling Lightfoot. So far what I got is Ranger, Folk Hero.
What did you do to become a folk hero?
Now's the time to think about it.
Yeah, no, I can,
You don't have to know right now, you can work on it.
no, that's kind of what I was hoping to do.
Yeah.
For you folks back at home, so, I don't know a whole lot about how things work in Feywild, so I've been having a little bit of a, wait, not Feywild,
Faerun.
That just,
Devin? Look at this fat baby.
I have to put this online.
Okay, so, a folk hero, usually something it's for, like, a good deed. Like, the examples given are, like, you helped overthrow a local despot, or you saved a village or band from raiders, or monsters, or,
A
wolf
rampaging owlbear.
rampaging owlbear.
The thing about the Sword Coast is
Next
that
they chased by bear.
the thing about the Sword Coast is that it's a somewhat lawless region, because there's no central government. It's all pretty much independent cities. So raiders and bandits are pretty commonplace here. I could definitely be a part of it if you would like.
like the, real life Sword Coast.
Or your entire village caught on fire and you went into the buildings and saved literally everyone.
I do like that, because what I was trying to go for, like, folk hero, like, I don't know if there are, like, strict rules to how, like, halfling culture works, but I was
There
thinking,
don't have to be.
like, some kind of, you know, the small town, like, the football quarterback got the cat out of the tree, kinda straight-laced, clean part, kinda football sports, you know, except in the halfling translation.
Leave it to Dagny, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Leave it to Dagny.
Like, somebody who just, I don't know, got propped up by just being, like,
Just
good
an
at
all
things on...
Hobbiton boy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That actually, an all Shiren,
Yeah. All Shiren boy.
but whatever. So
I do like that he's just like really stupidly popular.
You're wholesome. You're a wholesome
He's just
boy.
a wholesome, popular boy that is propped up by, beloved by the town for his sweet, sweet touchdowns.
So, we've basically got all our characters down. You all are starting at level 2, because,
we pre-ordered the game and got that little package upgrade.
Yeah,
you got
bonus
the,
DLC.
you got the season pass.
The day one DLC.
Day 1 DLC, Season Pass.
Can you
They're
tell me, is
set up.
this the Silver Edition, Gold Edition, or Special Super Deluxe Edition?
I would call it the Ultimate Edition, but we all know that Ultimate means fucking nothing.
It's the Gold Ultimate Deluxe Sparkle Edition.
With holographic cover.
Yeah.
Yeah!
In all seriousness, this first mission is pretty buck wild, and y'all need that level 2.
Yeah.
Something I forgot to do when I bumped you all up to level 2. Under experience points, put down 300.
Oh, I need a pencil.
You
I
did do
got-
that, actually, and I have it written down.
I have them in
Oh.
the multitudes.
Oh, thank you! Oh, my alignment is chaotic emo. I forgot about that.
Aw. Also, by the way, Fiore does legitimately have a fan. It's red, and it's got black lace trim on it.
So, we are going to begin this campaign. You are all with a caravan that is headed towards the country town of Greenest.
Not greener, the greenest.
Greenest.
The grass is greenest.
It's a merchant caravan. You guys tell me what you're doing on this caravan. Why are you headed to Greenest?
I was hired as a bodyguard.
Okay.
I am, taking a vacation.
Where are you from, actually?
I don't know, Devin. Where am I from? Probably like a metropolitan area. Like a larger city.
Kalimshan?
The nearest, sort of semi-big city would be El Terrell.
It's okay if I'm from a city that's further away. I'm taking a vacation because somebody saw something and I need to just leave for a while.
About twice as far away from that is Baldur's Gate, which is pretty much the biggest city on the Sword Coast.
Probably.
Yeah. You did something, and now you gotta go.
It happens sometimes.
What are you two doing on the caravan?
Polena is trying to get more towards Candlekeep so that she can get the name of someone who can make a portal to the Feywild and maybe get home that way.
Awesome. Yeah, I was already thinking that the caravan was headed south from El Terrell to Greenest, which would be a good midway point before you head west, and Candlekeep is right on the coast over there. Agni Underhouse. What are you doing with this caravan?
Trying to make my name in the mercenary game.
That's so cute.
You think
I don't know. I just kind of made that up.
You could have been hired as a guard for the caravan, just like Jaskira. Especially on the Sword Coast, merchant caravans are always heavily in need of guards.
Okay. Like how big is said caravan?
Ooh, you're so beloved in your town, but your parents are like, maybe you should go explore because they're secretly sick of you still living in their house.
Oh, probably.
And so they gave you some money and they're like, go, child!
See the world!
See the world!
This caravan is just 3 horse-drawn wagons, just kind of small, spice merchants, probably.
You spice.
The guy that you're riding in the wagon with is this older, kind of 40-year-old man, kind of graying hair, big bushy mustache, and he has just been talking nonstop since you left El Terrell. So yeah, so the guy hit my daughter's cart, busted up the wheel real bad, and I was saying to the insurance people, there's no way that we're going to cover this. They better cover this cost, you know. I don't know whether or not the dude had insurance on his cart when he hit it, but
Yeah, that sounds rough.
apparently he skipped town right after the incident.
No, you don't say.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try to pick his pocket.
Well, then that's going to be our very first roll of the night. Go ahead and roll sleight of hand.
Kira is sitting next. I'm assuming he's the driver.
Yes.
I'm going to be sitting next to him, and she is just sort of slowly nodding, staring off into the bleakness of space. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. Oh, that's rough.
22.
Holy shit.
I paid him to be on this journey. I would like to steal my money back.
If he had twice the passive perception that he actually has, he still wouldn't have seen you.
Ooh. What about me, though? Nope. Not passive, anyway.
How much do I get?
5 gold. You honestly didn't get that much because it's not a very big caravan.
That's fine.
Yeah. It's sort of getting late in the evening. You were going down the road with cornfields on both sides.
Familiar.
Plant.
You're entering the green fields, which is a pretty warm farmland, kind of grassland kind of region. You're getting real out into the country now. And the driver, as he's kind of going on and on, suddenly stops talking mid-sentence and is kind of looking out and squinting his eyes. He's like, "Is that smoke?" And everybody looks forward, and down the road, you think maybe 5 or 10 miles, you indeed see a black column of smoke in the distance, coming from what you think is where Greenest is.
I'm going to assume that's not a campfire.
Oh shit.
Oh, don't look like one.
Cold blimey, that just looks like a lot of... What the fuck is this accent?
Oh, blimey, governor!
Poor blimey.
That looks like a lot of smoke.
That sure do look like a lot of smoke, Mr. Caravan Driver. I do declare.
Yeah, seems to be Southern Middle.
Oh, man. Feywild's a big place. They've surely got all kinds of accents there.
Oh, darling, you don't know the half of it. Well, I do declare that looks like a right old town fire.
Oh, boy. You think we should go check it out?
You've seen a lot of town fires?
Well, you know, things happen.
Well,
that aside, let's go check it out.
Yeah,
Looks like Greenest is about to become ashiest. And Jeskira fetches a pair of shades out from a fold in her cloak, snaps them open and slips them on.
So yes, you hear the Who, playing faintly behind you as the driver picks up the pace.
Jeskira takes out her own mandolin and begins playing a riff.
Why, I didn't know you played.
When the occasion calls for it.
Well, if it's that kind of occasion, Colin gets out her lyre and joins in.
I leave the cart. I go.
You leave the campaign.
Yeah, forever.
Time to make a new character.
No, but I would like to head quickly towards the fire.
Oh, sure. The driver will, kick up the horses into, like, a pretty fast trot, so he's probably keeping up with you pretty good. And as you come over the next few hills with a column of smoke getting closer and closer, you do indeed see, as the sun is setting to your west, the town is on fire. Several buildings,
What is the status of the roof? Is it also on fire?
the roof is on fire.
Okay.
Do they need water?
They don't need no water.
Oh, so just let the motherfucker burn.
Yes. I'm dying, Squirtle.
This is fine. Alright,
Meme counter. Ding, ding, ding.
spoken song lyrics as a conversation and then 2 memes. This is going to be a great podcast, you guys.
Great, guys.
So far, so good. Jeskira is going to sling her mandolin back around to her back, cast mage armor, and run toward the city.
Alright. Like full sprint, like pulling ahead of the wagon. It actually looks like the driver wants to kind of hang back as you're coming closer.
They start slowing down.
I'm going to douse up a blanket or like just a cloth with my water skin and tie it around my mouth and find the first house that looks enterable.
Okay. You guys enter Greenest and arrive upon a scene of complete chaos. The town is bathed in the dim light of dozens of fires. They're small and isolated, but there's a lot of them. The streets are filled with clouds of thick black smoke, and through the haze you can see figures, silhouettes running to and fro. Most of them are vaguely human-shaped, as you might expect, but also some smaller figures, almost like packs of children, racing down the road. You can't really tell. You even see the silhouette of some big, 4-legged beast pursuing a couple of the humanoid figures away through the smoke.
What the fuck is going on? Sorry, is this a PG podcast?
No.
No.
Oh, I mean, I guess if it were a PG podcast, we wouldn't have a shirtless DM.
A shirtless DM with his tits hanging out.
It's hot!
Oh, the indecency. The all indecency. They can hear the sweat.
I tell you, I've seen a lot of things, sir, and this is just beyond the pale.
He is very pale.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it's so beyond the pale, it's snowblind.
Except for my damn driver's tan.
Yeah. Left arm.
One arm.
Yeah, left arm tanner.
This one's a little tan, but this is definitely dark.
Like Greenest, it's the tannest.
It is.
Use sunscreen, Devin.
No.
I really should. But I don't.
Yes, Kira is running to the city.
Okay.
she's going to start directing people toward the cart while running towards the large animal.
Okay.
Corlina stows her lyre on the cart because she doesn't want that thing to burn, and runs over at a little bit more of a lope. Not quite as fast, but definitely still, like, putting in appearances.
Mm-hmm.
Alright.
Like, oh, I'm coming, everyone.
So yeah,
Don't
you're...
y'all worry, I'll be there right in a second. I got a jug of sweet tea and I'm ready to help.
Alright, Amy, play my character for me.
Sorry.
It's okay.
So yeah, you're running towards some of these silhouettes in the smoke. I assume you're like calling out to them, just being like, "Hey, come over here, come somewhere safe."
Yes.
And you see a small group of figures running towards you.
Oh, look, small people.
A small group, not a group. A small group of figures, not a group of small figures.
That's an important distinction.
I think, considering humanoids are pretty average.
Oh, look, average people.
That's better.
Through the smoke emerges a young woman with short blonde hair carrying a shield and spear. And she's running right towards you.
Calm down, we're here to help, ma'am.
Are you part of the guard?
She doesn't answer you. Instead, she kind of like looks behind her, like she's running from something. And first, through the smoke, you see a limping man and 3 children following her. And then one of those groups of small figures comes out of the smoke behind them in pursuit.
An actual group of small figures, not a small group of average figures.
Yes.
Okay.
You soon see that they are small, dragon-like humanoids, not too different from goblins.
Oh, honey, we got kobolds.
There are 4 of them.
Oh, this is what our podcast is named after?
Name drop.
We did it! We said the thing!
First episode!
They're pursuing this family. The man looks like he's grievously injured, and as she's running towards you, she just goes, "Help!"
May I address them in Draconic? The kobolds?
Sure, what would you like to say?
Whoa, hold up. Kira moves her hood back, revealing black scales.
Well, if that isn't the mint in my julep.
What the hell are you guys doing here?
They kind of look at each other, confused.
I didn't get the memo, you gotta fill me in.
One of them, which appears to be kind of the leader of the group, quickly hisses to the others in Draconic, which only you can understand. Just goes, "It's not her! Kill them!" And they're charging towards you to attack.
So, kobolds?
Kobolds.
Kobolds. They're just like tiny little dragon men?
Yeah.
Okay.
Toddler-sized.
Like dragon goblins.
So yeah, they are not answering your question. They're instead charging to attack.
I brandish my hand and my rapier in the other hand, and I'm ready.
I tried.
Everybody roll initiative. And I need this map.
I want it to be known that I have still beeline for the first house that I can see.
The first house that you see is currently empty, and it looks like it's been looted. Like there's dressers overturned.
Somebody beat it to it.
Shit strewn across the floor.
What about the next house?
Did they...
By the time you get out of that house,
Did they
you see
strangle
this confrontation happening.
I mean, I see it, but I don't care.
Strewn any floors
Okay.
across the street.
No, I'll probably help their fucking children.
Alright, so I know you two are the closest. Dagny, did you follow Jeskira and Kaelina closely, or did you hang back?
I guess I followed them. How does one roll initiative?
You rolled a d20?
D20?
Pardon me, Dungeon Master, it is Quaelina.
Quaelina, sorry.
It has a certain lay to it. A quay, you might say.
So that's going to be roll a 20 and then add on 4.
Yes.
It's 22.
Shit. Amber.
17.
Okay.
7.
And Amy.
11.
And 7-11.
Well, after this, I'm just gonna have to get a Frosty.
Alright, Dagny, you're up first.
No shit. Alright, I'm going to attack then.
Alright.
With my sword.
Alright.
Sword.
Short sword?
Sword.
May the Schwartz be with you.
You've got 4 kobolds to choose from.
Oh, I'm going to pick the shiniest kobold.
Oh, okay.
I hope you know what I mean.
Alright, roll to attack. You'll be rolling and adding your attack bonus for whatever your weapon is.
Where do I find my active spellbook, though?
9.
That's a miss.
Okay.
And that is it for your round.
Cool.
Jaskira.
Yay.
You!
She is going to fire a ray of frost at the closest kobold she can put her peepers on.
Okay, well, they're all kind of fanned out in a line, so you tell me.
I'll go also with the shiniest one.
Okay. That is kind of the closest to you.
Not 20 plus 5.
Oh,
shit! These dice are like Kira, which is great because I bought them just for her.
Another 5th edition rule. 20 on a dice always hits.
Oh?
Even if
And
there
you get
is
double
damage.
damage.
And you roll your damage die twice.
15 damage, it is now slowed by 10 feet.
Hot.
No. It is
It's
now
dead.
dead.
It is now slowed forever.
I'm cool with that.
It basically turns into a kobold ice statue frozen in pose running towards
Kobold
you.
sickle.
A cold bold.
And then just kind of falls over and goes, teek!
Alright, who's next?
Who's next is the kobolds. Dagny, you are the closest one, and they're all going to rush on you.
Thank God.
So, first one is attacking with a dagger, gets 18. What's your armor class?
It is 15.
Ah.
So that's a hit.
Okay.
And it does 4 damage. Alright. Next attack is 7. I assume that misses.
Yes.
Yes. And the third attack is 16
That connects.
for 6 damage.
Alright.
And they're giving you a couple good whacks. That didn't sound right.
Whacking me a couple goods. Didn't that sound correct? Or?
Call a Lizzie Borden.
Next up is Fiore.
Alright. Since they are being attacked by other people, I believe I can get a sneak attack.
You can.
What does sneak attack do exactly?
I get a bonus to my damage.
Yes, it's usually if you hit at all from a position in which the target is in melee range and not focused on you or cannot see you.
Well, it's if I have advantage on the attack, which I probably should. If you want me to roll stealth, I will.
Yeah, you would have to hide first.
It's fine.
Go ahead and roll stealth.
Or just roll my phone across the floor.
24.
Very nice. I guarantee you those kobolds cannot see you.
Alrighty. And I am going to go ahead and shoot them with my short bow and sneak attack. I will shoot...
That was your action. But you can still move.
I should already... I wanted... Okay.
Next up is the lady with the spear, who's going to come over and attack this kobold.
Cunning action. You can use bonus action to dash, disengage, or hide.
Yep.
Oh, fuck! There you go, then.
Alright, now I will shoot them with my short bow.
Do it.
Fuck yes. He likes these dice, he does. Over 20.
That'll hit.
And so that's... So 13 plus a d6 for my sneak attack, which is another 5.
Was that your damage?
Yeah, 18 total.
Alright.
On the closest one to me.
Finish it.
I finish it?
Yes.
Right between the eyes, motherfuckers. Out of nowhere.
Alright. It doesn't even see it coming. Yep, you just knock it right between the eyes. It kind of goes cross-eyed like, ew, and keels over. Alright, that means it is now the woman with the spear's turn. Does anybody want to roll for her?
Sure.
+2 to hit.
4.
That's a miss.
She's
Oh, well.
she's going through some shit right now.
Yeah.
Then it's Quaylen's.
Alright. So since these things are going down pretty quickly.
That's the sound it made when I hit it with my arrow.
I'm going to raise my hand at the one that's between two melee fighters.
Okay.
And I'm going to fix it with a look and say, if I might be so kobold, you just look dreadful, darling, and cast Vicious Mockery.
Okay. Could you describe that spell to me?
Vicious Mockery. If the target can hear me, though it need not understand me, it must succeed on a Wisdom saving throw or take 1d4 psychic damage and have a disadvantage on the next attack roll it makes before the end of its next turn.
Okay.
And my DC is 14.
Okay. That is a failure.
Alright? It's going to take 4 psychic damage.
Ooh, damn.
I do declare.
What? I certainly do.
What language are you using?
It need not understand me, so I'm using Common.
It knows Common. So.
Okay, I'm using Common.
It looks horrified, just mouth agape, and then looks down and looks back up at you like, it's my best loincloth.
Oh no!
Darling, you just need to get that professionally prestidigitated.
It was my daddy's.
And it looks like it hasn't been washed since then.
Making a poor kobold cry.
That's what I do best.
Oh, good.
Dagny, it's your turn.
Alright, can I just go for the regular attack?
Yes. You've got one that's taken psychic damage from the Vicious Mockery, and one who hasn't been hit yet.
Oh, well, I'm gonna hit the one that's crying.
Just to add injury to insult. So yeah, just go ahead and roll an attack normally on that one that's crying.
By the way, just Kira would like to leave one alive for questioning.
Okay.
It's 10.
That'll miss.
Rough.
Like a corn cob sandwich.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
It's rough.
Rough.
Oh, God.
Let's leave that one unexplained for a while.
They can imagine it.
Or Google it.
Jeskira, your turn.
I am going to raise my scaly brow with a moderate amount of sympathy for the fallen, insulted kobold.
Okay.
But attack another one.
Okay. You're attacking the full health one?
Yes.
Okay.
You can't attack the crab.
9, unfortunately.
Yep, that'll miss.
9.
And then it's the kobolds' turn. I'm going to have the first one. They normally roll with advantage because of their pack tactics, but now that their pack is falling apart, I'm going to take away that advantage, and then that one still gets disadvantage. One is going to attack Dagny, and one is going to attack the woman, attacked the woman with the spear.
I feel so attacked right now.
I just came here to have a good time. Woo!
That's a hit on you, boy.
Oh no.
Alright.
Yeah, don't woo for the NPCs.
I will woo all I want. That is 7 damage.
Oh, jeez.
How are you feeling?
Oh, I'm feeling like a healthy little 1 HP.
Like a corn cob sandwich.
It's rough.
It really is. And then the attack on the woman gets 15.
After this, may I speak to the one with the wounded pride?
On your turn.
On your turn, you can, yes.
Alright. Sometimes talking is a free action in between.
And she takes 6 damage, which is not great. She tries to block it with her shield, but it's just so small that it just goes between her legs and, like, gashes her thigh on the way through.
Ooh!
Ow.
Ow!
That was the one that was insulted. It just rolled really good on its disadvantage. It's still crying, though, as it did that.
Crying salty tears.
You guys are so mean!
hate you! Fiori, it's your turn.
I am going to, once again with my sneaking, being so sneaky.
The way you just said that made it sound like his first name should be Guy. Like you really leaned into Fury.
God.
You're taking that out of the podcast. I will not have this happen to him.
Not in my household.
Not in my house.
Consider it
My
scrubbed
God.
from the record.
Thank God, not in this house, you don't.
Ow.
And in response to your insult, I roll a nat 20. Thank you.
Yay!
Are you shooting the healthy one?
Also, I think you come out of stealth if you hit something.
No.
The stealth comes out of you.
I'm hiding and I'm very far away.
what
I'm
it is.
distracted by
Until
it.
I look it up, I would say only for the one that you're attacking, which you killed in the last round. So I'll give you the advantage on this one.
Why, thank you. Otherwise, I am happy to stealth again.
And, which one are you attacking?
I should attack the healthy one, but I would definitely attack the crying one.
That leaves my one for questioning.
Alright, roll your damage.
So that is 3, 9, plus 8, which is 17, plus my sneak attack, which is 4, so 21 damage.
You somehow cut him in half with an arrow.
Yes, I do.
Why are you guys so OP this early on?
I don't know.
Really good dice.
21 damage?
Mm-hmm.
What is your damage on that bow?
It's a D6.
And then you roll twice.
And then plus my dex and my proficiency, it makes it plus 8. Wait.
Should be no. For damage, you only add
No.
dexterity.
Yeah, that's what I thought, and then I was told about the proficiency. That is also added.
Proficiency to the attack roll, not the damage roll.
Yeah, when I asked it was the damage, and you guys told me.
Oh.
Okay, well,
Oh,
in any
sorry.
case, that's still 19 damage, so...
He's still cut in half by an arrow. Alright. He dead. The woman's gonna back off a little bit. So I'm gonna go ahead and give it to you next, Nora.
Okay. Alright, so on the last one left, I'm going to Vicious Mockery again, and say, now, how could a nice kobold like you let your friend just go out like that? And I'm casting Vicious Mockery again, and it needs to make a Wisdom saving throw.
Okay. That's 3.
Okay. It's going to take 3 psychic damage, and disadvantage on its next attack.
You are no longer hidden if you attack someone, even if the attack misses, unless you have the Skulker feat.
I don't, but I still am happy to roll again.
Yeah. Do you have a limit on your cunning action?
Just once per turn.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Damn. Then yeah, you can just automatically hide every turn, pretty much. Well, you have
So I have to roll for it.
Yeah, you have to roll for it, but... Alright, so that is 3 psychic damage to this lone remaining kobold, who is also... Oh, wait, what did you say?
Now, how could you let your friend go outside dressed like that?
I thought you liked him.
He's just like, just kill him!
Even in death, so, you deserve dignity. Dress for the death you want.
Just for the death you want, not the one you have.
God, this kobold is very demoralized. It actually drops its dagger.
Keep that one for questioning.
Dagny, your turn.
Wait, so we've caught them all, right?
It's only the one left, which Jessica wants to save for questioning.
You don't have to listen to her.
Do I have to roll to kick it in the shin, or can I just kick it in the shin?
It would technically be an unarmed attack.
Yeah, you could make an unarmed attack with advantage.
Okay, where would I find that advantage?
It would come with your class or background.
How does proficiency work with unarmed attacks? Do they get it?
I think only the monk is proficient in unarmed.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone else...
It's a class or background thing.
Yeah, everyone else, you just roll plus strength, and then your damage is like 1d2 or like 1 damage.
Okay, so go ahead and roll with your strength modifier, and you'll do 1 damage if you hit.
7.
You missed!
Man, I am rolling some low digits tonight.
You just came up and aimed for a kick, and he just kind of like hopped back like, stop it!
Get Dagny his own dice.
And then
Yeah,
just
you need
Kira,
Dagny dice.
it's your turn.
I'm going to put my hands on my lizardy hips and in Draconic say, alright, come over here if you want to live.
Okay. I didn't even want to be here anyway.
Yeah, wasn't your day to come in. And just Kira pinches the nape of its neck and sort of pulls it off to the side.
Kind of ineffectually bats at you, but doesn't really do anything. And the woman comes over to you, still with spear in hand, just like, "You sure you don't want to kill that one?"
Look, I can talk to it. I can find stuff out.
Alright, if you say so.
Someone should tie it up, though. Do you have any rope?
I
I'm
will
fresh out.
emerge. I have some rope.
Of course you do.
What is that supposed to be?
I don't recall seeing you guys around town before. Are you from here?
For
Just
grappling
arrived
around
on a
buildings.
caravan up from Altero way.
Ah, see. Well, you showed up at a pretty opportune moment. I appreciate the help.
I'm going to restrain the kobold.
It doesn't resist, so you can go ahead and tie it up. She's like, well, we need to get somewhere safe now. My husband's hurt real bad. We need to get him some help.
Oh, does he need healing?
Yeah, if you got anything that could help, that would be mighty appreciated.
Bring him hither.
And she kind of like pulls him up. He's got like a pretty nasty gash right in the side of his abdomen, and he's still standing, but he's limping pretty badly.
Quillin hums a little tune, and she's like, "Looks real bad, but be healed." And she casts Healing Word, and
The healing word is house feathers.
1d4 plus your spellcasting ability modifier is going to be a massive 5 hit points.
Alright, that still gets him up to full.
All right.
He doesn't look like a fighter.
They are just commoners. Those squishy commoners.
So his wound stitches up nice and neat, and he breathes a sigh of relief. And the woman says,
Sure.
"Thank you so much.
You're so welcome.
Do you think you guys could get me to the keep in the middle of town? It's kind of the safest place around here."
Why, sure. If it's defensible, I think we should move everyone that way.
Well, everybody's trying to, but this brouhaha kind of caught us off guard.
Oh, I can see that. Well, what say we get moving, y'all?
Yeah, I'm fine. Let's go.
Let's go.
Pulls the kobold along.
Look, why don't you guys go ahead? I'll stay back and see if I can find anyone worth salvaging. If so, I'll catch up with you.
All right.
All right.
So Fiora, you're staying behind?
Mm-hmm.
And
Party splitter.
this is probably a bad idea, but
It's just a very greedy boy.
If you think you can stay under the radar, whatever that is.
Yeah, I should be fine.
Alright, the rest of you want to make for the keep.
Stay under the divination spells.
Stay under the scryer.
Yeah. Out of the scrying pen into the scryer.
Yes, I
So you guys head on towards the keep. The children are kind of slowing you down. They can't move quite as fast as you guys can at full speed.
Damn kids.
Kira will tie the kobold to like her belt so that it follows, and then carry children as needed.
Okay. You can probably only carry one. The wife and husband can probably each carry one now, especially with the guy all healed up. Fiore,
Yes.
you have been left alone. What would you like to do?
I would like to search through all of these houses and try to find some good things.
Okay.
And I am also going to look for people. Like, if I do find anybody that's alive, I will try to help them. But
Alright.
give me loot.
Go ahead and roll your stealth, and I'll use this as your basic stealth
Well,
roll
you
while you're
could
creeping
probably
around.
ask the bard instead of just searching all these houses.
Oh, for loot?
Oh, I'm so funny!
I certainly haven't heard that one before.
You could take that act on the road.
I got a 14 stealth.
14. Okay. That is actually pretty good. Most of the town is in a state of panic, and even with your very minimal experience with robbing, with all the fires, all the smoke, and it's starting to get dark, you really have no problem blending in. You do see bandits rushing around with the kobolds, and you also see one of those big four-legged beasts. It kind of looks like a dragon wolf. Seems to be following the bandits around, and like they're training, like they've trained it and they're having it do their bidding.
Do I have to roll anything to try and observe if the kobolds and those raiders are working together?
No, you can see pretty clearly that they are.
Okay. The kibbles.
I'm going
Kibbles
to.
and the roaders.
Yep. I'm going to nudge mine and say, "What's that all about?"
It's the cult of the dragon.
Oh, great! Love those guys.
We have to do what they say, or else they'll kill us.
I'll bet you don't even get union.
What's union?
See,
I just came here with my pack. Well, that used to be my pack.
yeah, sorry about that.
They were dicks.
Glad you're seeing it our way.
Just, they were only people I had. I kind of had to go with them. I couldn't say no.
Don't beat yourself up about it.
Fiori, you are sneaking into some houses, and most of the ones that you get into have pretty much been looted out, as far as you can see.
Mm-hmm.
And you can tell through observing the bandits and kobolds that are going around is this group is just basically taking everything of value out of this town. But eventually, you find a house with a locked door that you manage to get open, and you find a family inside,
Oh.
huddled in the corner behind the bed.
Oh, hello, everyone.
They see your complexion, and the dad immediately holds up a knife and is like, "Don't hurt us, please, don't hurt us."
Don't be racist.
What? You're burning our town down!
Did you just say I'm burning your town down?
I mean, you're with them, right?
No.
Oh. Sorry.
That's egg on their face.
In any
I just
case,
never, I haven't seen you around here, so I thought you just came with them.
yeah, that's why.
I'm not racist, I promise.
They all say that. Anyway, regardless of your racism, there's a group of people leaving the town. You should probably go with them. Hang out here for just a moment, and I'll escort you out.
Okay.
Did it look like, or do you guys know if there's anyone else here still?
Here, as in...
The town. Any other families hiding that you know of?
I have no idea. We've been locked in here since the attack started, like, half an hour ago.
Okay, well, stay here. I'm going to check the other houses. I'll come back around and get you. Gather a few things.
Okay. How long do you want to search?
Just long enough to just, check every house, see if there's anything shiny or living or almost living in there.
Well, I mean, you can't check every house in the town. At least not without getting spotted.
Long enough to establish an alibi. Can't check every house.
Let's say maybe you search like a block's worth, maybe.
Do I find any treasure?
Any treasure? Why don't you go ahead and roll your perception?
22.
Ooh. You do find some treasure.
Ooh, what do I get?
A house that's been, it's empty, but it appears to have been, empty and locked up before the raid started.
Mm-hmm.
And you sneak in and you find some jewelry worth about 20 gold.
Yoink. Alright, then I'll circle back around and go get that family.
Okay. You three are heading towards the keep.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. As you get closer to the center of town, you can see the keep is on top of a small hill. It's a pretty run-down-looking keep. This clearly hasn't been kept up in order, like waiting for any invaders or anything. It's pretty decrepit.
Are you sure this is defensible?
No.
Great.
No.
A small group of guards is standing at the front gate of the keep, led by a red-headed dwarf. And you can see a bunch of small groups of humans and kobolds kind of walking around the base of the hill. They're not really making any sort of, like, effective barrier around the keep, and they're not attacking it actively. It seems like they're hanging back and waiting for something.
I'm going to ask our kobold, they dex too?
Yeah.
Great. This is turning out to be a banger of a day.
There aren't any really large buildings near the hill, but there's plenty of brush, and there's still clouds of smoke periodically wafting through the area. How do you want to approach this?
Love a good waft.
And do you want to wait for Fiore?
Yeah, let's wait for
Oh, shucks, guys. We just met.
Okay. If you wait for like a good 15 or 20 minutes, you guys pretty much came from the same area, so you find the group pretty easily, Fiore. You've now got a grand total of about 10 villagers with you, and you have all grouped up.
You all almost slept them through the bed.
Glad to see you helped him out.
So in those 15 minutes, I'd like to be observing the people around the keep and see if they're trying to get in or if they're trying to defend.
It actually kind of just looks like they're terrorizing from a distance.
Menacing.
Like they're kind of like hooting and hollering and waving their weapons, and the guards are all in like a defensive position in like a semicircle in front of the gate, and the bandits don't seem to be rushing forward and attacking or anything. They're just kind of they're terrorizing.
Okay.
Being a menace in South Central.
Alright, well, I think we should just, do they seem to, the ones menacing the guards, do they see us coming at all? Like, do they seem to be aware of us?
If you guys sort of stay back away from the hill, close to where like the buildings still are, they don't notice you. They haven't noticed you yet.
Okay. Then, I propose that we form a phalanx, or just kind of an attack formation with the ones who are skilled in combat at the front, looking menacing, and then the villagers in the back, just sort of filling out the ranks. And then we just make a big old rush at them and try to get behind the guards' lines as soon as possible.
Sounds lovely.
The woman's like, sounds good to me.
Now you're speaking my language.
Alright, so yeah, they're kind of in scattered small groups. They're not really making a solid line around the keep. Do you want to try to charge directly at one of the groups, or try to go between them straight for the keep?
I think between is probably best, just to keep the element of surprise on our side.
Alrighty. So y'all line up with your attackers in front, and then just run full speed, assuming everybody's taking the dash option, and everybody is...
I'm going to roar for best effect.
Ooh, nice. And the children are all being carried, so they're not going to slow you down too much. Your roar, Jeskira, absolutely freezes the bandits in their tracks, like especially being a draconic-sounding roar, and that gives you precious few seconds to charge straight between these groups of bandits and kobolds. Several of them patrolling the area start giving chase, but you've still already gained a lot of ground on them. The dwarf, who is leading the guards...
With the dwarves.
The guards at the gate see you coming, and looks like he's gonna get his weapons ready to attack.
I thought you were going to say shit his pants.
Well, that'd be nice, wouldn't it?
He's a professional.
My mistake. Mea culpa.
But he definitely sees you coming as threatening and is bringing up his sword and shield, but then looks like he recognizes the woman with the spear that you saved. He's like, "Lenin, hurry, hurry!" and is waving you all towards the gates as the guards sort of part for you. Just before the bandits can catch up to you, everybody rushes through the gate with all of the guards and the dwarf following you, and as soon as you get through, the dwarf throws his full weight into the gate and shuts it tight, and another guard drops the bar into place to lock it. Mm-hmm. And that's quickly followed by a bunch of banging and pounding at the door.
Good show, though.
That was close.
That was exciting.
Lenin, are you and your kids okay? He's like, yeah, we made it thanks to these guys here. They really came through for us when we were in pickle. And the guard kind of looks up at you three, but sort of level with you because you're small.
If you call it a pickle, I've got a thing to tell you about barrels.
So, mind if I ask who you all are?
Well, we came into town with a caravan up from Altera, and just decided that these folks needed a bit of helping.
Oh, wow. Well, your help is very much appreciated. Oh, this is... Honestly, we don't even really know what's going on here. These people showed up out of nowhere and started looting and pillaging.
Dragon cult.
Dragon cult?
Well, we appear to have captured a prisoner, and the prisoner here, a gesture, claims that the cult of the dragon is responsible for all this. But where are my manners? My name is Quaylina Firetree, and what's your name?
I'm Castellan Escobert.
Castellan Escobert. What a pleasure.
I am the guard
Castellan
captain.
Escobert. What's so hard to say about that?
It's just kind of a mouthful.
If you want, you can call me Escobert the Red. Kind of my nickname around here.
Oh, because, yeah.
Yeah, you got it.
I like it.
And you are a guard captain?
Yes. In charge of the keep. As much of it as useful as it is right now. I mean, we got solid walls around us, and that's about all we can ask for right now. But we can't really stand up to any sort of sustained assault.
I thought that might be the case.
Anyway, so, you got a prisoner here that can hopefully shed some light upon this attack. Why don't I take you up to see the governor and he'll figure out what to do about it.
Why, the governor? I do declare.
And he leads you up some crumbly stone stairs up to the parapets, the higher walls of the keep, where you see an older man, kind of about 60, pacing the walls up there, and you see that he's got bandages all around the right side of his face and head, and his right arm is in a sling, and both of them are blood-stained.
Well, look at you. You look like you've been through the ringer.
Yes, I suppose you could say so. Who are you?
Well, we're just with that merchant caravan over yonder, the splash traders that were scheduled to come in. But we decided to come and help when we saw that your town was all on fire.
Oh, well, thank God. That's certainly a timely arrival. I'm Governor Nighthill. Pleasure to meet you.
Pleasure's all mine, Governor.
Left to shake with his left hand.
Uh-huh.
Escobert comes up with you and kind of points out the kobold that you have prisoner. Well, they say they've taken one of the kobolds prisoner to hopefully shed some light on what's going on here. They said it was the cult of the dragon.
We did indeed. By the way, if anybody else wants to talk, please do.
That's what this Darth said.
What?
Darth is draconic for draconic creature.
Oh. It looks up at you like, my name's Riki.
I'll keep that in mind.
Thanks. Nighthill kind of looks between you and the kobold, like, well, I've kind of got to make sure that things are
Not about to burn down.
Yeah. I don't suppose I could leave you to do the interrogating.
I was planning on it anyway.
Alright. Well, I will have Escobert check in on you periodically. If you need me, you know where to find me.
Can do, Governor.
And he kind of just goes back about to pacing on the parapets and making sure everything's in order. And Riki is just trying to appear as small as possible, just kind of like huddling back against the wall of the parapets.
Kira puts her black cloak over him so he looks even tinier. And just maybe a bit comfortable.
Oh goodness, yes, that does not look suspicious at all. Good job.
I assume your robe is like twice his size, so it's just kind of bunched up around his feet.
Yep. Even at 17 years old, Kira is 6'2".
Yeah. And the hood just drops completely over his head.
Kira will lean down and tug the hood back a little bit so they can start the questioning face to face. So what's the final plan here?
Well, we're supposed to just be raiding and pillaging settlements and taking as much loot as possible back to the camp.
Or what, like a horde?
Something like that. They don't really tell us all the details. They just told us to get as much valuable stuff as possible.
And how do they get the bandits in on it?
That is the cultists. They can't really dress like cultists, so it'd be a bit obvious. They're not all cultists. They've hired some mercenaries, but most of them are back at the camp.
Where's the camp?
Kind of points off to the southwest.
I'm going to quickly sketch a map and make him point out on there.
He can't really tell you on the map. Like, he just kind of, like, puzzles over it in confusions. Kind of like, I don't know, I've never looked at a map of this place. It's just that way.
Fair enough. She draws a compass rose, an arrow off of a compass rose that says, camp.
Okay, yeah. And he just kind of looks up at you sheepishly, like, are you gonna kill me?
No.
Oh, don't worry, we would have done that by now. If that's what we were planning.
That's true.
Okay.
I mean, unless you give me a reason to, then I'll have to think a little bit harder, but...
I really prefer to live.
Yeah, you're doing well so far.
I don't really know what I'm gonna do now, though. I assume you're not just gonna let me go back to them.
No. What I want you to do is I want you to stay here at this keep and make yourself useful.
I think they might beat me up.
I'll ask him not to. Maybe you'll earn some goodwill.
Okay. I'll do my best, I guess.
You better.
Alright, anything else you want to ask him about? Or just go ahead and set him to work?
Who is it who was doing most of the threatening to kill you?
Well, that would be Resmir.
Ah. And can you describe this Resmir?
She looks like her.
Oh, a black dragonborn?
I think so.
So we'll just say tall, black, and scaly.
Tall black dragon lady.
You know there's a lot of us out there, right?
Well, yes, but that does help narrow it down from, say, someone who's more elven, like me or our Steve friend, or someone who is shorter, like, our short friend.
She sort of rolls her eyes like, fine.
And, this Resmir likes to, hang out at this camp?
Yeah, she's in charge of it.
Alright, well now we're getting somewhere. And would you happen to know, beyond material wealth and death and destruction, any other goals she might have?
I don't know.
Well, that's okay, honey. And I pat him on the head.
Kind of hunches his shoulders sheepishly.
Oh goodness, I can smell why they call you Riki.
Oh, that's mean.
I think you've done enough.
Alright, so what do you want to do with little Riki?
One last thing. What are those big dragon wolf things called properly?
They call them drakes. I think they breed them or something.
Well, alright. You've been as helpful as I'm sure you could have been. Anybody else questions?
I think we're
No,
good.
I'm alright, thank you.
Alright, what you want to do with them?
Yeah, lead him back into the keep and try to convince everyone not to just beat him up.
I have an idea. Come with me. I'll lead him over to the family I saved.
Okay.
You owe me. I could take gold, but instead, watch over this one.
Yeah, alright.
Riki, help the people out. Guess you have a servant now.
Riki's like, okay, I'll do my best. And Escobert, who is kind of nearby, overhearing, comes over and kind of pats Riki on the shoulder Yeah, I'm sure we can find something for him to do around here.
Oh, I'm sure there's blood. But, in any case, don't abuse him. Watch out for him.
Will do. We owe you that much. And a little bit later, the Governor Nighthill comes to find you. So, did you find out anything important?
Yes.
I like these morphing accents.
Am I doing bad?
No, it's just the first time he was Southern, and now he's kind of British.
Fuck.
Everyone's been kind of Southern.
Probably because I've been doing most of the talking.
I'm trying to keep consistent Southern, but I try to do old guy, and I guess I must just think of Michael Caine or something.
Fuck it, this guy's Michael Caine.
Yeah.
No, I don't want that.
Southern Michael Caine.
I catch him up on everything we found out from Riki.
Just think Dan Dearsy.
Dan Deargy. It's Dan Deargy.
Who's that?
You know the car dealership Dan Deary in town?
Oh!
One guy I was talking to on the phone who was ordering from there said Dan Deargy. I don't know why.
Like every time. Dan Dearsy.
Dan Deargy.
The third and hidden brother.
Yeah. For some reason they gave him a different last name instead of
He's the one they kept in the attic.
Because he couldn't say the name right.
Oh no.
Wow, we're all really horrible people.
Yeah.
Congrats.
So, Nighthill ruminates over the information a little bit. Well, it's not much to go on, but I guess it's something.
It's better than a swift kick in the ass.
So we learned something about a camp?
A camp?
Yes, there's a camp to the southwest run by a dragonborn woman named Razmir.
Okay.
Yes.
Who also appears to have been giving death threats to the kobolds in exchange for their working for her.
Just being a real ass.
They get paid in death threats.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, the governor kind of looking out on the town, just being like, well, I don't think they want to kill us all, they just want to take all our stuff.
Yeah, it appears to be for some kind of dragon horde.
Suppose let's just batten down and wait for the worst to be over. And then, a deafening bestial roar splits the night.
Oh, look, the worst has arrived.
Everyone in the keep falls silent and is looking out, looking for the source of the sound, and your attention is drawn to a large, dark shape that's moving in the cloud of smoke above town.
That's powerful through him right there.
Oh yeah, dragons fly.
It's circling slowly, coming lower and lower, until finally, with another terrible roar, it emerges into the light of the fires. To your horror, you see a fully grown blue dragon descending upon Greenest.
Ooh.
So,
Hey everybody, thanks for listening to episode 1 of Cornfields and Kobolds. I apologize for all the audio issues in this episode. I know there's a lot of background noise and voice cracking. This is our very first podcast and we're working with kind of limited equipment, but we're going to do our best to work on these in the future and try to clean up the audio a little bit. Art in this episode belongs to Wizards of the Coast, from the Hoard of the Dragon Queen and the Monster Manual books. Music used in this episode is by Vin Svept, and the theme song is Through the Woods We Ran from his YouTube collection. You can check him out at Vin Svept, that's vinsvept.bandcamp.com. That's vinsvept.bandcamp.com. Once again, thanks for listening, and we'll see you in a couple weeks.